Alright, hello there everyone, this is Wadaketa, an admin of the Atlantis Squarepantis speedrunning Discord, and today I will be showing you all how to speedrun Atlantis Squarepantis DS. I technically did a tutorial for this, actually not technically, I did do a tutorial for this a while back, but new routes have been found since that require an updated tutorial. So we're covering that now. I'm playing this off an actual DS right now with a capture card. And I'm gonna get this out of the way. Most runners of this game either use an emulator or just record with a camera to record their footage for the game. So if you don't have proper recording software like I do, don't worry. You can still run the game just fine and it can be submitted and accepted perfectly. I believe the world record holder Punch Shot uses camera anyway. So yeah. We're very open on that front. That said, during this, let's go ahead and start our file. And I will be covering both the any percent route and the 100% route today. Or the all treasures route, as it's called. What that entails is that we need to fill up this shelf of treasures. With all the treasures that are scattered throughout the game. And we'll be checking after the credits once the final boss is beaten just to make sure that the run is valid at that point. Obviously this isn't going to be an actual run on my part. I'm just showing you all how to play. But I will be accommodating for both routes. So first things first, you want to head over to the main cave. And now to talk about getting through the cutscenes quickly. Firstly, you want to hold B and mash A and all the rest of the buttons, because that allows, and then for this one you want to press start actually. Let me actually explain things. Holding the B button will cause the text to advance super fast, and even cut to its endpoint after a bit of text is typed, and then pressing the rest of the buttons will just ensure that you can get through the text as quickly as possible. And now we start in the cave, and those of you who have seen the any percent route will know what comes next, but since we're accommodating for all treasures, we do actually have to explore a bit of the cave. So for this dialogue you also use the holding and mashing method, and that is not how we play the game. Good job, mate. You want to throw your partner. Actually, next chasm you throw. You can just jump over that one. Get to the end of this room. And now we make our way up here. And actually, you don't need to get up here. I just do it because to avoid having to throw Patrick. You actually don't even need to grab that fragment. And it's probably faster if you don't in all treasures. Just to avoid that extra dialogue box. Switch to Patrick here because the game forces you to defeat the jellyfish. And optimally, after that little scuffle, you want to end up on the right side of the platform so that you can just head to the bridge immediately. Then we get this treasure, and you want to jump and throw Spongebob up to get it. And you heard the sound, the treasure has been completed. And then we back to the hub. And I'll cover this real fast. The reason we route it this way is because by simply collecting the treasure, it's part of our collection. So, and the fastest way to clear this, and it's faster to head back out to the hub and just reset the level, because you can just press start to skip these cutscenes now, whereas we couldn't before. Though you still have to mash through this dialogue. And now, here's where the any percent route would begin. First things first, you want to angle Spongebob at the corner right here, making sure he's facing up and left. Uses basic combo, cancel it, do it again. That didn't exactly work. And there we go, you just walk out. Sometimes you need to do that 3 times for it to work, but it's possible to do in 2. And now we have what would be considered the actual beginning of the run in any percent. This minigame. Now I'll get a pencil for a stylus real fast, so I can do this. So this is pretty chill, just you can relax for a while since this is on the easiest difficulty. We run on the easiest difficulty. This minigame is easy, you just have to know when to do things. Really, after getting cave skip, the beginning of the run at this point is effectively just relaxing for a bit, prepping for what treks ahead. The day cave skip was found was legendary, man. We used to have to do that all the time. And it's a pretty long first level. So now we're coming up to the first stopping point, and you want to try and aim for 3 sets of 4 of a 4. Aim for 3 4 combos and then a bunch of 3 combos to keep the consistency going. And that will allow you to beat this minigame at a comfortable pace. I only got 2 that time. Good job, me. I mean, you can aim for more than, you can aim for 4 if you want, more times than just 3, but I don't. That one's getting too close, so I'm going to shoot it away. And now we just wait for a bit, going into the next area, into the next shooting area. And you can gun down the jelly ghosts prior to entering these areas, but it won't count toward the required score for these areas. So it's better to just deal with them as needed. Also note that in this area, some jelly ghosts can sometimes be obscured by the buildings, and if building blocks your shot, then it doesn't count. And so that's effectively wasted time as you try to hit more jelly ghosts. And I think that's going to be a 2 combo. Yeah. The third one was blocked by the building. So you want to be wary of your shots getting blocked by the buildings. Because that effectively is just another shot that Spongebob fires, but it gets wasted. And so now we move into the next area. And we switch to Patrick here. Carry Spongebob so that we can mitigate AI shenanigans interfering with trying to run the game, because the AI in this game is very unreliable at times, sometimes just wanting to do its own thing. Fall down here, and we can wait a bit, because just jumping to that next platform is actually slower due to the cycle. Nope. And the save! Try to get corner boosts off of these oil drums, just by walking off of them. And into the next area. Grabbing Spongebob here, and I'm gonna try to do this without pushing the trampoline. Missed the jump a few times. Ooh, but first try. And fail all those corner boosts because I jumped at the wrong time. Yeah, you'll notice Patrick moves forward just a tiny bit upon walking off those objects. That doesn't work with standard level geometry, but for objects that you can walk on top of, usually just walking off of them will cause you to clip forward a bit. And just open the door here like normal when you're playing the game. Then you want to enter the transition and try to switch to Spongebob during the transition so that you don't go through you don't waste time waiting for him to waiting for the character change animation to go through, either before you enter the door or at the beginning of the next level loading in. Hey, Punch. We're at the point of the gold spatula level in this tutorial. And thankfully, unlike other levels where you would need to have both your partner and point character to move to the next area, in this case, our goal is in the same area as we start in, so we can just play as Spongebob and not even worry about babysitting Patrick. Which helps because Spongebob can just float over these gaps. Then we go down here and just fall into here. And like that, we get past this cutscene, and then it's time for the first boss, Sandy Cheeks. And that gold spatula also counts as one of the treasures. There are several treasures in the game that you get automatically and you don't even need to worry about. So we've been challenged to a karate match by Sandy, but rather than just hitting her a bunch of times, we're gonna be... Ow. That explosion did such little damage. We're gonna just be throwing her a bunch of boxes at her. You want to be wary of her attacks. If she starts uppercutting you like mad, then you can make use of invincibility frames that you get from throwing objects to mitigate that, thankfully. But yeah, now it's time for one of the run killers. And the two people in the chat can definitely attest to that. It's time for Mr. Krabs' Dream. The best way to go about this, if you're right-handed at least, is to use the stylus and just try to follow where Krabs is going to go, turning away when there's a barbell. Thankfully, something of note is that hitting Hans with the barbell still counts as score. Wow, this is not good RNG. This is like a terrible run. And then for the slots, you just mash the A button, don't even worry about getting score from him. And accidentally hit. Wait, you go down. Okay, that wasn't the best run ever. But yeah, like that, now we're past Bikini Bottom. Cave skip saves so much time. I was so happy when that was found. And so we just match through a bunch of cutscenes. Can't skip them, unfortunately, because this that's a new word, isn't New Game Plus. And so now we have to find 2 jewels to open up the door to the ancient city. People who have played this game casually will know the process. And we got the glitch. Alright, I may as well show this off a bit. This is completely pointless, but my bad. It is hilarious. Yeah, for some reason this rock, its geometry can sometimes propel you into the air, and then he gets stuck in his whatever animation he's set to. Which can include even the one when you close and reopen the DS. It takes a specific angle, but it's hilarious. MCS. I'm sure that's an acronym for for a glitch that I know about, but I do not recognize the acronym. So feel free to explain it. But yeah, here at the beginning of the lava level, we want to press A around here and then move into the dialogue trigger. We heard the sound there, the dialogue triggered, and so we're going to choose Sandy and Patrick. And now that allowed us to skip the dialogue that normally appears here. Oh, move continent skip, yeah. If only we... the legendary glitch that we have yet to find. And that once it's found, we'll totally need to completely rework the any % category into 2 subcategories for certain. No major glitches. But yeah, for these enemy rushes, the best strategy is to make use of Sandy's air attacks. The hitboxes can be a bit awkward to work with at times, but it is still the fastest method. If you're having a bit of trouble with that, then you can actually make use of Patrick's hip slam instead, and that's still pretty fast, but you want to try and work with Sandy's air attack instead. And so here, get through here, then you want to go down here to park the partner, not fall into the lava, double jump, kick here, and during this enemy rush, you want to avoid thrusting any of the enemies into the pit of lava, because that causes them to respawn after too many seconds that you really just want to avoid doing that. Unfortunately, it doesn't instantly take them out, otherwise it would be the most viable strategy. Alright, and do it again, carefully, yeah! Probably not going to make it to the door in time, but got close enough. Let's see, I haven't missed any treasures, right? No, I haven't. Cool. If I do end up missing any treasures at the end of this, that's going to be pretty embarrassing. But yeah, another enemy rush. Be wary of the... You don't even have to worry about the damaging floor too much, because there's so many Krabby Patties that, honestly, this is heavily skewed in your favor if you just do the Sandy jump kicks strategy. All the enemies spawn around here, so you want to try and be as close to where the enemies spawn as possible. Okay, that time I actually took some super armor from that hit. Quickly karate chop this block and made it to the door in time. That's fastest. Cool. And now it's time to play as Patrick up. We need to do the very slow and tedious process of pushing this I can't think of the word. Torch. The word is torch. All the way over to an area, all the way over to a spiderweb on this side of the level. We threw Patrick into the lava there in order to keep him from following us. And so, yeah. We separated Sandy and Patrick in order to prevent from having to just walk back and forth over and over. We can just switch to our partner to do what we need to do. Saves quite a bit of time over doing this the normal way. Alas, we do not have a way to skip the spider web yet, otherwise that alone would save a lot of time. Alright. Oh, I switched fast enough to hear the torch landing. Right, want to be careful of the jellyfish, and doing this very close to the edge in order to keep Sandy from following me. Because that's just extra time that I would need to move her back into place. And once more. Move Patrick there. And she moved out of place a bit. Switch to Patrick again. And you can jump to cancel the switching animation, and this works for all characters. Switch to Sandy as soon as you hear that the spiderweb's disappearing, and you can make it here. And we don't need to worry about Patrick anymore. We can just truck it to the end of the level. Which helps with these platforms being the way they are. Ooh, that was stylish! If only we can get that to happen more in more runs. That part is RNG. Yay, glitch. And so now we're heading for the Coral Cave. Always love this smiley face here. Whether it was intentionally designed to be a smiley face or just a bit of moss, who knows. And I'm curious about something. Is it... Either we'll make a discovery during this during this tutorial, or I will look like a dingus. Oh, okay, there's a dialogue skip here. I never knew that. Now we know that. And it can be done with Patrick. So that works out. Discoveries! So yeah, get that to avoid that dialogue happening. Yeah. And try to avoid Mr. Krabs falling into the pit. You can double jump over these to get the shells safely. The ones that don't have shells over them have no jellyfish. Grab our boss, run over here, and throw him over to the switch. How about that? New strat discovery during a tutorial. No way to skip this upcoming dialogue, though. We don't need to open that treasure chest, but that's still important information to bear in mind for later. Inflate a few times here to get past that enemy. Corner boosting there doesn't really help, usually, because typically the AI is bad enough that you still have to worry about them catching up to you. And here, we need to bring Mr. Krabs over here. And let's see if I can remember how to do this. That is... Okay, let's actually do that with Mr. Krabs at point then. Because that is what we wanted to do, just with the wrong character. Yeah. Just throw Spongebob there. And you can completely make this process a lot faster. And then you just back out of the character switcher to get Mr. Krabs back. This just saves time, compared to doing this room the normal way. Switch back to Mr. Krabs at point. Get up there. Or, actually, I can also show this off. Let's just throw him here. You can actually have Spongebob at point, get rid of the jellyfish, double jump up here, and Mr. Krabs will just be jumping here, and you can just grab him here, and that's actually faster because that gets you prepped for mowing that grass. So that's actually the recommended strategy, but if you have trouble timing that well, then you can just have Mr. Krabs at point and just inflate. So yeah, that's two ways to do that part. Double jump over here, Mr. Krabs' AI will just jump here. And didn't actually need to throw him there, but whatever. I do need to grab you here, though. Probably should have grabbed you with SpongeBob instead. And here's the last treasure chest. Normally, at this point, we need to go past, we need to go further down and past all of these platforms that are right below us, as we'll see. Yeah. We would need to go here to the left, past all these platforms, and mow a bunch of grass. But thankfully, we can avoid all of that with that glitch that we did at the beginning of the room. and that enemy doesn't know what the definition of time stop is, apparently. Okay, here. Pretty tricky glitch. We're gonna get a corner boost here. And we get a cutscene skip. And we're gonna switch to Spongebob and Sandy. And the second part of this cutscene will play, but by getting that cutscene skip, we've already saved quite a bit of time. Now, normally you'd have to hit that switch to bring up a bridge, but we're double jumpers. We don't need to do that. We do need to get Sandy over here, though. A little more reliably than that. You time it just right. You time the character switch just right so that you can get that. And now we go up here for the next treasure. An anchor and a melee shell. Those are always good to have. Whee! And so this is a long, arduous level. So we're gonna do none of it. First get Sponge in here. Have Sandy fall down here. And voila. You can just skip the pirate ship. So now we make our way down to the next upcoming boss. And there's a few different ways to do this. You can either have Mr. Krabs as your partner and just crab mow. Or you can be stupid. Or, honestly, I found the most reliable way, and the most reliable way for my fingers, is to just use Sponge's basic attack. It deals a reliable amount of damage. You can deal a lot of heavy damage, and for the Sponge Dive, in the case of the Sponge Dive, you can actually pretty reliably get... Normally the Sponge Dive has a lot of... let me slow down a bit here so I can explain what just happened there. So you want to use SpongeBob's Sponge Dive in conjunction with his normal air attack there a lot. And normally the Sponge Dive has a lot of end lag, and it also deals a lot of damage, so that's why you want to use it. But normally it has a lot of end lag, but the spikes that spawn prevent the end lag from occurring, so you can just spam the Sponge Dive super fast against that boss and it just goes down quickly. It's either that or you can use the Crab Mower to beat it super fast. Either way works, but I prefer the Sponge Dive simply because Crab Mower is a bit of a damage race that ends up a lot closer to dying usually, and also costs melody shells, which you want to save for the end game as much as possible. But yeah, now we have both the jewels, and we are talking to the Pontifex, and it's time to head for the middle area, the ancient city. And guys in the chat, Punch Shot 24-hour runs. You can feel free to yell at me if for some reason I miss a glitch. Although while we're here, I can actually show this off. This is the midst of a glitch that is currently in the process of being examined. We throw SpongeBob over there. Let's see if I remember exactly how to do this. Okay, there's some glitch to end up in the ground here. And we predict it could potentially lead to a discovery where we can completely just bypass the upcoming door and enter the next area. We haven't found it yet, but that could be huge if, because it could mean that we could skip the Coral Cave and Volcano levels and just go straight to the ancient city, theoretically, if we could clip past the door and enter the loading zone. So now we have the dark room. We're just going to... We're not even going to switch to Mr. Krabs at point. We're just, for some reason, they didn't really account for that giant gap. try to avoid that situation. Alright, let me take care of you while I try to figure out what happens next. Is there a thing here? Okay. I'm either going to look like an idiot or remember what I'm doing here. Actually, I think that's supposed to work. I believe that's supposed to work. Okay, now my karate just wore off. I believe we go over here. And we also need to bring Spongebob over here. He has an easier time getting across. But yeah, we completely skip karate chopping a block. And then we're going to do a similar jump upcoming. Alright, now it's Sandy's turn. I actually forget if you have to use karate here or not. But if you fail, then... if you fail... The partner died to the pit, and it cost my life. Okay. Normally, if your partner falls into the pit, it's not supposed to cost life, so I don't know what happened there, but... Sure. Sure, game. So, yeah, let's do this part again. Try to be a bit more reliable now. Go ahead and get Sponge over here. Park him at the switch. Didn't quite land on the switch there. Dope. There we go. Second tries the charm. You want to make the most of your karate time. This might actually be possible without karate. Hold up. If you fail here, then you end up here, so thankfully that doesn't lose too much time. You don't need to redo the trick, so that is always worth going for. And that was just clumsy of me. And yeah, after that, we enter the next room. And normally you have to have Sandy and Patrick here. But, well, simply put... Oh yeah, you can corner boost off of these. I'd not recommend it, given the situation. Don't worry, Sandy will get herself there. You need to push... You need to switch lever... You need to switch levers to make blocks spawn and then push them as Patrick. It can be laggy and unreliable. Well, not unreliable, just really slow. I kind of screwed up there, but yeah, you can kind of see what's going on here. We're gonna grab Sandy here. Okay, you go away. Well, I mean, that works. Okay, yeah. Either way, you can clip out of bounds there, and you end up on this invisible geometry that is actually the geometry that loads in once you've pressed all of the switches. So as long as you are familiar with the level enough, I'd recommend doing this room a few times, spawning in the geometry as normal, so that you can get a feel of where you can stand and where you can't. But the fastest method is to just clip out of bounds there. Albeit a tad more reliably than I did. Oh wait. Okay. No, Spongebob, you fool! Okay, actually I just realized the reason you might want to switch to Patrick at point here. Yeah, it's actually probably better if you do switch to... Yeah, duh, obviously. Because you have to switch to Patrick at point in this room anyway, and it's just faster to do so there, in the previous room. Alright, forget what I said. In the previous room, the earliest chance you get, switch to Patrick and Sandy. And so now it's time for the next boss. And we're gonna try to speed kill this with Sandy's combo move. And completely fail. Alright. Well, actually, he hasn't switched. He's not done yet. Okay, there, we got it. And let's see if we can get this trick. I might have gotten it. Yes, okay! That's the first time I've gotten that. So, optimally, this is completely actually optional. You don't have to go for it if you're just playing to run the game. It's a very advanced trick. So I have a lot to explain here, so I'm going to pause the game while I do so. What we did back there, with the 3 explosions on the Clockwork Guardian, as I call him, doing 3 explosions actually deals enough damage that he skips the phase where he heals himself, and so you don't need to worry about that. You can just quick kill him. And past that, I made sure to quickly switch to Sandy and make my way over to the right side of the room with double jump where the music was going to spawn. And so normally once you grab the music, the door to our right is supposed to open, but if you grab it during the transition, the cutscene of the door opening doesn't happen, and we're not trapped. So that saves a bit of extra time if you can get it. Very advanced. First time I've ever gotten it. But, yeah. Yay, we get to show off more stuff. And so now it's time to revisit the volcano. I'm glad I was able to show it off. But yeah, now we're reaching the point of the tutorial that's going to differ greatly from the previous tutorial. The part where updates to the route come in. We're actually going to switch to Patrick at point here. Actually, I was wrong. We're going to switch to Sandy at point here. Double jump up here, grab Patrick, throw him, switch to Patrick, jump, and grab Sandy to jump across these, because this time we actually do need to bring our partner across these areas. Woo! Ah! Corner boost off the platform. Why not? That works. Okay, didn't mean to throw Sandy there. But yeah, now we make our way in here. Now it's time to climb the volcano, and I forget if this trick existed during the time I did the previous tutorial, but yeah, you want to switch to Patrick and Spongebob, or Spongebob and Patrick. Die here, and this teleports you here, grab SpongeBob here, and now, new trick. We're going to float on top of this pedestal, and this is faster for both any percent and all treasures. Then we just float up here, I think. Maybe I should have studied this trick a bit further. Oh wait, no. I believe we actually go up here again, and... Ah! We die here, we respawn in the wrong place. Why did we respawn there? Alright, apologies, folks. I'm actually figuring this part out myself as well at this time. Jump there from the treasure. Into the lava from the treasure? Can I make that? Oh, I guess you're right. Fair. Yeah. Alright, thank you, Punch Shot. Glad I have an audience for this. What? Good job, me. Alright. Optimally, don't do that, and instead float up here, and yeah. Can you switch to Spongebob, go over here. And obviously, if you do that way faster than I did, that saves a lot of time over just doing the volcano normally from the initial out-of-bounds clip onward. Yeah, the only thing that can make Volcano more broken is if we manage to skip past the door in the initial visit to get the red jewel. And so now it is time to do another run killer part. But also something that is pretty reliable when you stop and think. Your partner is invincible when you throw them. Gak. And it costs no melody shells, it's fast, it has long range. Do not run off the pit. Alright, you just go down. Third least favorite part. Ain't that true for all of us? And then you go here. And now it's time to restart the level just for a very odd restart point that even adds time to the timer for some reason. Not sure why that works the way it does, but it saves time, so whatever. Also, be sure to restart after that dialogue, otherwise you'll restart that room and have to fight the fire jellies again, and nobody wants that. Whatever. You just fall down the volcano there. That is completely normal. I don't know if it's intended, but it's, yeah, I don't know whether to consider that a glitch or if it's actually meant to be intended, given the amount of time you get to... You don't need to do anything wild to just fall down the volcano, but at the same time, you get a lot of time to go down the volcano the normal way. So, I don't know what the deal is with that, if that is actually a glitch or if it's completely intended. Ah, just missed. This is like bad RNG, man. I see it shaking. I'm gonna miss. Thankfully, spawn missing so close there actually lets us spawn where we need to. And we'll carry Sponge all the way to the end, cutting a few corners where possible. A faster way to fall down the volcano? I'd love to see that. But yeah, I mean, that's the type of strat that we would definitely, that I think we would not, include in no major glitches, just because it's not really clear if it's a glitch or not. In fact, you know, if I could ever get in talk to THQ, I would love to take a look at this game with them and see what was going on in their minds as they were designing certain things. But yeah, with that, on to the final part of Moo Continent. And for this, we'll switch to Patrick at point, and actually you want to switch during the transition to save time. Just press start to skip this cutscene. And for this boss, there will be rocks that fall from the ceiling. You want to use those to attack. And you want to use Patrick because he can jump over the red jellies, which will always be a nuisance. Oh dear. You don't want to let King Jelly attack if you can help it. Especially if it's the one specific attack that we all know about. That wastes a lot of time. That hopefully we're not going to see, so I hope I don't need to mention any more about it. And during attacks like these, he goes into super armor, so that helps to prevent him from accidentally going out of bounds while you're trying to hit him. Which can happen, and is annoying when it does, because it means you have to be careful how you hit him, and you need to... He's already dead, come on. Come on! Come on! There. Float up, and get the clarinet. Now, I look forward to seeing it once you do have it punch. Now, we have the part of the run that is called relaxation. All you need to do here is make sure to play enough to survive. You don't need to worry too much. Make sure you actually hit the notes, unlike me. I'm completely missing the notes this time. Oh, crap. I actually gotta take this. One moment. Hello? I don't know what kind of... I'm trying to make a small sculpture.
Like a figurine?
Yeah, let's say.
Okay, are you going to want to paint it, or do you want the clay to be the color of whatever you're making?
Thinking I'm going to want to paint it.
Okay, thank you, that's what I needed.
Alright, thank you.
Of course, I love you, bye.
Love you, bye. Alright, now that that's out of the way, sorry about that, folks. Let's continue this. You can try to play a bit better than I am right now. But the important thing is that you just, one, don't fail. Because if you fail, that's instant, you just reset the run. And God help you if you, for some reason, fail during a marathon. Thankfully, that hasn't happened to any one of us yet. But yeah, the two important things here are to just not fail and just wind down and prepare for effectively the second half of the run that can be pretty intense at times, especially since it's so late in the run. Props to anyone who can actually get all coals in this game. I've yet to do it. I forget what my record is, but I've tried a lot of times. It's tricky. Especially on the harder difficulties where there's more notes and they're faster. Yet another reason why we don't play on the higher difficulties. Because all that really affects is some enemy health and minigame difficulty. So it's really not... There's really no reason to have categories for, at least for the main runs, for the... Get your words together. For the... Wow, my thought completely just left me. Yeah, there's no point to having extra difficulty categories for the main any percent and 100% runs. Just the individual minigame ILs. And skip the save, skip the cutscene, skip the save, and make your way into the doors of Atlantis. You can just hold down and then press A at the appropriate time at this part. And we want to have Spongebob at point here. Not get run over by these dastardly things. Patrick's not going to jump across here. Normally you want to actually go above, and actually that's what we want to do. Yeah, he's above here. Jump here. In this event, we just inflate and looked away for a second, didn't quite make it. But yeah, we just carry SpongeBob to the end, platforming as necessary. Nose is itchy. Then you want to make sure you're Patrick at point when this room starts. Carry your partner, because there's a lot of platforms that your partner will not follow you over, including these moving platforms. Best to save on trips. And first try, yeah! Avoid the enemies as necessary. Do not toss your partner into the pit. Then in any percent you would just go to the right here, but in all treasures you want to break this door, and no way around it, you have to climb a ladder with both characters. What are you doing there, Sponge? And pray that your partner doesn't follow you back down. I find the best way to do this is while they're in the air from climbing the ladder, just immediately switch to the partner so that they're effectively stuck at the top. So yeah, going all this way just for a single treasure. Reasons number 5 why I don't really run. And actually, yeah, we saw a bit there. This is actually above the main level. But actually, we can just take SpongeBob over here. Alright, then we restart the level. And then we make our way back. I'm actually going to switch to Patrick at point because he's faster with carrying partners and objects, which we desperately need in this. Wow, SpongeBob, great job threading the needle. And into the next area we go. And here we switch to SpongeBob and Sandy. And fun fact, you can tap the door in the character swapper to just make either Plankton, a jellyfish, or Gary appear. Then we're gonna take the Spongebob path with Spongebob here. You don't even need to hit the switch. You need to hit this switch though. And then take the Spongebob path with Sandy. Preferably more successfully than that. Yeah. They didn't really account for for Sandy's aerial mobility here. Even without karate. And wait for Sponge there. Dive here. Take out that tank in midair, because why not? Ignore all conventions, and yeah, let's try that again. We want to go over here. We don't even need to hit any of these switches. Although I just realized something else I am actually going to have to do that I will handle in just a moment. Hit that switch. Go up here, because we're showing off all the treasures. And you can completely skip this if you're not going for all treasures, but you do need to get the Spongebob statue right there. Otherwise, double jump over here. You can hit that switch if you're having trouble reaching this next platform with Spongebob, but typically, not the platform. I want to just go straight for the end. You can just float here and voila. And Sandy just...
That's what I expect.
Okay, she respawned there. That's good. But yeah, it's stupid in this game. Hands down. Now it's time for the trials. First up we have Krabs' trial. You want to basically just do this as fast as you can. Just throw the treasure into the bag. Might take a couple tries before you get used to the process, and not just break things like I just did. But you can jump over the tanks that are trying to gun you down, or just dash into you. I don't think we want to throw Spongebob into the treasure bag. But yeah, easy enough. Obviously, optimally, you would not miss any of your shots. And this would be the last thing we throw in. But I gotta throw in one more diamond. Whatever special stage that would be in Sonic games. And now we head into the next area. Try to get corner boosts off of as many of these as possible without losing time. And now we have a fun thing. I'm actually going to do this 3 times because there's actually 3 different routes you can take depending on your needs. First things first, we're going to wiggle out of bounds here. It's pretty tricky. And is obviously an advanced strat with how tricky and inconsistent it is. And if you go at it for too long, without getting it, then you can totally just do the normal way. But, my hand's already getting tired. Aha, here we are. So you can wiggle out of bounds here, and then the matrix is right underneath the level. So we get the first hint here for the code. Then we go here and do single jumps and wiggle out of bounds. Try and get over there. Ugh. Oof. This is probably the hardest of the waggle clips, as we're calling them. Alright, is there an easier way to do this? Oy. La 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 la. Come on. I got this a bunch of times the other day. Ah. Yeah, if you can't do this, you can just take the teleporters as normal. And I'll be showing off the intended path for people who can't do this trick. In case you can't do this trick later. But for now, I at least want to show this is possible. Even if I only do it once. Aha! And you want to try and avoid getting back in bounds. Just go straight to the hint here. Yeah, that's the hardest of the waggle clips. Then you want to take this teleporter and admire. And then from here, we actually head back to red. Normally we'd take the lower teleporter there, but I believe the strategy is different here? I forget, actually. Let's see, red is there. And I think we actually... Punch Shot can yell at me on what I'm doing wrong if he wants. But yeah, there is a trick that I studied a bit before going here. There is a better way to clip to the... Yeah, it is from the orange teleporter. But I'll just show this. You actually can't waggle here. You want to dive here, move down a bit. Okay, we've gotten it. And from here, since it's so simple, that's actually incorporated into the main route, even if you can't do the waggle clips. But yeah, we're gonna go underneath here and try to land here without hitting the teleporter. And that's just a simple way into the cyan area. Optimally, you want to actually get there from the orange teleporter. I might show that off in a bit. Since I had a brain fart. Forgot if I could actually do it there. And then you just switch to Sandy here, get back on track. Yeah, we'll show quickly the clip from the teleporter. You want to go over here and not hit the teleporter. Yeah, this one is another. You move down here. Double jump and hover. And voila, that's another way in to this area, and actually the recommended way. The other way I showed earlier is just a backup in case for some reason you can't get that reliably. But yeah, we're gonna go back here. And then we can just use that clip I used to get out at the red teleporter to do this normally. We'll do this with Spongebob since it requires a sponge dive. Be sure to move down, don't immediately move left, otherwise the game will push you back in. And this brings us to the purple teleporter, in which case we can just go here. Which leads us outside, for those who just recall. And so now I'll do this room one more time with the intended strat in the event that you cannot get any of the waggle clips. Because seriously, That is not easy. I don't blame anyone if they're unable to get the clip. So yeah, first, as usual, you get that hint. And here's where that waggle clip is. We're just gonna ignore that. Get that hint. We're actually gonna go down here. Did I just see something really weird?
It should be E101.
I swear I saw SpongeBob's face disappear from his model for a moment. So then we head back to the green area and do that other clip as usual. Move down. And voila. It's really simple that I do recommend practicing that one even if you can't get the other waggle clips, because you don't need to you can't get that by waggling. You have to get that by sponge diving. And so now it's a guessing game. We'll try 0, 3, 8. Okay, let's try it again. First try! Yeah, let's just guess the first number of the code until you get it, since we never get the first number of the hints. And now it's time for the art room. Yes, I did get Sandy's. Okay. Had to remember if I got... That's something I forgot! Alright, one moment, we're going back. I completely was too focused on speedrunning Mr. Krabs' trial that I completely forgot to get the treasure from his part. Well. Of the YouTube upload. Sure works both ways. It does. And the hints are still active, not that we need them. Since the board's already open. I've got a treasure, that's what happened. I've got the treasure in Krabs' so yeah, we're just gonna, yeah. Good news is an actual run, this is just a tutorial. So yeah, in case the same as I do, because I think it even saves in the treasure chest, so you know, that's the same question. Luckily, we can so we don't need to read trials to the board, but either trials not so, and you do need to actually exit this score and redo this. Skip this cutscene, we're gonna end up with Krabs again. Because we need him to open up the treasure chest to his own dang statue. Yeah, this red treasure chest. Just open it up and there. Alright. Back on track. I guess there's no chance to try and go for battle tips. Good job, me. We can go into how this second game's program. I'm gonna do this thing at some point. I'm gonna have to at some point. The exact inputs needed to do these clips. First try. Wait, another console. And I'm gonna get the room. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay, yeah, got that pretty easily. And yeah, this is what happens when you walk down the ground. At that point, you can't just walk straight to the next game. And we're back to the end of the level. So yeah, that'll probably be the awful fastest route for tasks. And doors are open, so yeah, I'm back on track. With all the treasures up till now. Oh. Now it's time for the second memory game of the Atlantis trials. And I'm gonna have to actually check what notes are showing from the bell now. Normally when the bell is played at the beginning of this section, you'll want to just pay attention during the cutscene for this first room, but we actually have to hit the bell like the other two rooms now. Yellow, blue, red. Yellow, blue, red. Self-explanatory. Basically, you do this part as normal, as you normally do in the main game. Nothing too special, other than just doing it fast, doing it furious, maybe incorporating some... Ooh. Although I may have found an interesting strat. Maybe? Come on. Nope. Well. Yeah, you just run over here. Grab the Squidward statue that eluded me for the longest time. Yellow, red, green, purple. For the longest time, I thought I had all of the treasures in the game, and yet I was missing the Squidward statue. And now, remember the code very deeply since we have to get the bell. Yellow, okay, so blue, red, green, purple. Yellow comes first. Blue, red, green, purple. Blue, red, green, purple. Yeah, if yellow's at the end point or beginning point of that, then you can just remember the other four. And just know to press yellow, ring the yellow bell either at the beginning of the sequence or end, depending on where it is. But you do always need to grab the yellow bell because due to the number of notes, it will cover all the colors. So there's no skipping the yellow bell. Would be interesting if they mixed up which color bell was actually missing, though. So here we're going to grab this can and use it to destroy, use it to blow up a bunch of tanks. We don't need it for these guys. Come on, come on, back here. There. Again, you just do this section as normal. And I was actually not supposed to grab one there. It actually can help to let them just run into you sometimes if you find yourself missing a lot. Because that will ensure the explosion goes off in their face. Hey Ninja, you just missed it. I completely missed and had to go back for the Krabs statue. And I only noticed after I was done with the Sandy trial. Solve this puzzle. And you can't control yourself on this platform, so just gotta wait. Ignore the first and third conveyor belts. You want to hit the second. Move the block. And in 100%, or all treasures, you want to hit the fourth. Not any percent. You can ignore this in any percent. That's just the next treasure. So yeah, we're going to try to push this in a way that we can actually ride the block. And I think I almost got it, but I was moving at a slow enough speed that I couldn't maintain it. It's just you lose control on the conveyor belt, so nothing I could really do there. gonna stop because that's heading straight into the lava. We're gonna throw Patrick into the lava. Some friend Spongebob is. Go over the conveyor belt for style points. Switch to Patrick. And you can try to jump on top of the block, but it's really tricky and you're probably not going to get it, and it's just faster to ride the conveyor belt. It's faster to ride the conveyor belt than going around, so really, either way. Push the battery into its socket to power down the generator. Pushing a battery in to turn something off. That's never crossed my mind before. How backwards that is. Anyway, that little existential crisis aside, time for the next minigame. It's paparazzi. And you have a bunch of different poses to choose from. We're just gonna ignore that and throw... I said throw. A bunch of parfaits at SpongeBob so that he'll strike the pose we want. And we're going to throw them while we're zoomed in because that causes him to automatically home in on his location. Or not home in, just be aimed at him. It's efficient. He also stays in one place so that we can just beat this game really fast. If you're on higher difficulties, this strategy doesn't work. But on easy difficulty, you get enough parfaits that you can just win the game like this. Easy enough. Best to use the parfaits when you're actually aiming at SpongeBob, just to make sure they always land. Get past this cutscene. And now it's time for the part everyone hates. Starting up. Once this countdown is over, you want to switch to offense and just try to uppercut as many enemies at a time as possible. And don't get punched. God help you if you get punched. You want to just try and beat each wave as quickly as possible. Each enemy takes 3 uppercuts to defeat, so this just seems to be the fastest and most efficient way to go about it. Hitboxes can be pretty iffy at times, though. Who knows, maybe we'll find a more consistent and reliable combo attack that knocks down the enemies less and beats them, and thus beats them faster at some point. But right now, this is the strategy we use for this minigame. Maybe that should be labbed at some point. Don't ask me how the combo meter works. It's I don't know, and it's not necessary. Alright, that uppercut is pretty tricky to hit with, but it deals 2 uppercuts worth of damage, so make sure you don't use it on an enemy or a set of enemies that has only 1 uppercut worth amount of health left, because then it's a waste. The combo is AAYX in that order. How are you guys still up? How are you still up? Yeah, go down. And there we go. On to what it can be effectively the final level of the game. I'm going to switch to Patrick at point. And just hip slam a bunch of times. Oof. My bad. Oop. Hip slam actually does have different levels of charge in which it deals different damage. Apologies, folks. My throat is a little blah at the moment. Oof. You want to try and take out all of each wave as quickly as possible with Patrick's hip slam. Thankfully, with enough charge, it can take them all out at once. And it's a giant explosion, so typically you'll be hitting all the enemies. As long as you time it with these spear guys. Don't worry about the pot shots you take from the gun enemies. They never deal enough damage to actually kill you if you're beating these enemies super fast, like I am. And on to the next room. I'm going to aim for the lower area just so you can see where you're going. Don't get caught. Be careful with the lasers. And don't do that. That's what happens when you get caught. Metal Gear Sponge, everybody. The hitbox on the lights can actually be a bit generous, so it's not pixel perfect, thankfully. You can jump over the lasers to get past this part faster, but their movement patterns are a bit iffy, so do exercise caution. And now we have these giant cannon guys, which you actually want to time your hip slams now after they shoot their first shot. The hip slam has a lot more range than its sprite would suggest, so there's that. I'm gonna need some water after this. So yeah, now you want to work in tandem with the green cannon guys to beat these enemies super fast. Because the green cannon guys actually have the most health out of each of the enemies since they can hit themselves. So you want to make sure that they get hit by their own explosion as well. Just so that you can one-shot them that way. Because even a fully charged hip slam is not enough to take them down. And the last wave of enemies. Oh, but they were too far away. And they are the only enemies that can actually knock you out of charging hip slam. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's not good. Can you go down, please? That's like the worst luck I've had in this section ever. Dang. Switch to Spongebob as soon as the boss health meter appears, and just do this normally. It's actually better to just not use the sponge dive here. And just switch out if your character gets knocked down, just switch to the other character and just keep using the air attack. You want to prioritize using the Spongebob's though, just because he's faster, and outrun that laser wall because it is instant death. Ack! Oh dear. I know the problem. I usually am just up here where I can avoid all the jellies. Whoa, hold the phone. Did I just... Okay, apparently you can technically grab the That leads me to wonder. But yeah, apparently you can almost grab the guards. Okay. But yeah. Now, we have this trick that we see that cannon. We're not gonna bother with that. Instead, we're gonna do that. That's totally what I meant to do, yeah. Instead, we're gonna try and clip out of bounds one more time. And this is tricky, but the risk is very small. And if you have the right positioning, you can figure out the right positioning to get it. That's almost. You basically, there's a loading trigger behind this door that is the same as the one at the end of the hall. There you go. And so it leads to progression, so we don't even need to make it to the other end of the room. And so now we're at the penultimate boss of the game, who I like to call Grouper Snot, because of something that the guards say earlier. Switch to Spongebob, and now it's time to splurge all those melody shells we've been collecting on the Ninja Star. You want to try and hit him with twice per use. And you do that with a very specific angle at the corner. And like that, you can beat him super fast. Didn't quite get it that time. Okay. Flubbed up a bit at the end there, but still pretty fast. Pretty works out.
Yeah, it works. And looking at your triple ice screen, it worked on yours too.
And now it's time for the final boss, Plank Tank. Plankton in an ice cream maker, aka a tank. Okay, I had to go through my mind and make sure I got all the statues. And I got the gear, so yeah, I got all the treasures so far. And we can double check after the run. But you just want to dodge the first flurry of attacks here. First wave of attacks is actually more accurate. Pray to our Jesus for the cannonball to just go into one of these cannons. Then regret when it doesn't, and just head for the other end of the map. It's possible. Throw it in for speed. I'm not sure if that's a good angle. Yeah, it's not. I might not be able to one-cycle this. But yeah, normally this boss takes at least 3 cycles of what I just did. Instead, we're gonna beat it in 1 cycle. Wow. Wow. Okay, definitely not 1 cycling now. Okay, that's actually faster. Okay, I'm gonna restart that just so that people can see what I mean. But I think I found a more reliable method to get up there. You have to be wary of the lasers as you're climbing the tank. Normally the goal is that tank that was colliding with SpongeBob when I was inflating. That's destructible, and as soon as you destroy it, the tank instantly shakes you off. And so there's 2 of those that you need to break before you can start actually dealing damage to the boss. But you can completely skip those by hovering with SpongeBob. And thus that allows you to beat this boss in 1 phase if you play your cards right. And that's what you want to aim for. Please be a better angle. Might be a bit better. But you want to not get by the lasers too much. Woof. This one's easier. And there we go, 1 cycle plankton. And on the final hit landing and the glass breaking, that would be when time is called during both the 100% and any percent difficulty, any percent categories. And from here, for 100% or all treasures, the run would be over technically, timing-wise, but there's still one more step. We just need to get past these. Skip, skip, skip. And you have to wait till the end of the credits to check that you actually got all the treasures. Apparently. Could've sworn you could skip these credits first time through, but I guess not.
I went to session-proxy. Is that where you are?
Apologies for that, Dad's doing things in the background. Yeah, we'll just wait until these credits are up and make sure I actually got all the treasures. I mean, yeah, you can use the cave warp glitch, but if you recall, that actually... Yeah, that's fair. You can use a glitch during that final cutscene to warp back to the cave, and you can and then just go back to the hub from there. The one thing is that you end up missing out on the final treasure of the game, which is the bubble, which technically, since it's given to you at the end of the credits, since the trigger's there, just beating Plankton and having the rest of the treasures can technically be considered the requirements. I don't think we're too stingy on that, solely because of the situation behind that. As long as you've beaten Plankton and you have all the other treasures, that's all we really look for, because of the situation behind that particular, the world's oldest bubble treasure that you get after the credits. Just for to make it faster to confirm runs. But yeah, that's all that matters for all treasures. But since we're already here, we may as well wait till the end of the credits, because I can't exactly do the cave warp glitch at this point. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Ninja Star. I still love this music. And so now, make sure you save if this is for all treasures, just because if you say no, you won't be able to confirm the run. And so, yeah, that is all the treasures in the game, including the elusive Squidward statue that took me years to realize it even existed. But yeah, the world's oldest bubble. If this isn't in your check after you do the cave warp glitch, because of how it appears, that's fine. It's the other treasures and beating Plankton that we look for. So with that, that is the end of this tutorial. And like that, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see more runs for Atlantis Squarepantis DS in the near future. Until then, bye ya!